Hi, my name's Mick, and behind the camera there's Sharon, and we operate Uneek Living. And one of the most common questions we get asked, or the most common question we get asked, is people have difficulty following the instructions to assemble flat pack furniture. So we're here to help you with that, with a visual of how to assemble our flat pack furniture. Hi, today we're going to make the glass top shoe cabinet. It's one of our Deluxe models, and this is video number 3, so we must be getting a little bit better at this, don't you think, Shaz? Okay, now again, we unpack the unit and we get all the screws and bits and pieces. We make sure they're all there, and if they're not, please give us a call and we can sort that out and get them to you so that you can assemble your item. Okay, let's get started. What we need to do is start at the start, which is section 1, and it says to hammer in all the hinge parts for the side unit. So what we need to stress though is this little hinge holder needs to go to the top with the flat part here. We don't want the open piece at the top because you'll be able to see it when it's assembled. So the top is always above this thing, okay, and all we do is tap these in. As you can see, you don't have to be too gentle with it, but just firm enough. You don't want to go too crazy either. Tapping one side and then the other. Once you've whacked in the hinge supports, now we can put in our little joiners. And they simply just get a start and grab your battery drill and tighten up. And do that on all the holes. Now that we have all the joiners on, it's time to put our rails in place. And again, we need to make sure that this one goes on the bottom, which would be right here. There's only one groove. Use our little lock screws, poke them in and turn clockwise to tighten them up. Centre piece has 2 rails, and then you have the end piece. Now that we've got all the back supports up, we can put our slats in and hold the thing all together. And that's simply slide them in. They are quite long, so it's a little tricky to start. But once you get going, it goes in no problem. Make sure that it's in at the bottom. You just give it a little push and in it goes, so we don't have that much sticking up at the top. And do the same for the second one. Now we can assemble the other side panel. That sits up the top. Always helpful if you can have somebody to give you a hand with this, but we'll just show you that it can be done on your own. You get it in, you hit it down to make sure that it's in tight, and again your little lock screws and tighten, and do that for all of them. Okay, now that we've got the backing and the two sides on, we can put our bottom and our top on. We'll start with the bottom, but it's very important to note that this is your bottom. Your bottom is always where the hinge is going to hinge up and down, because that's the bottom of your drawer. So this side is your bottom. Okay, so now we'll go and put the bottom on. Okay, with the base, with the feet, there's a little screw in the top. Just unscrew that on all 5 feet, like so. And then we place these on the holes. And screw them in. Once you've screwed the base part in, you just put that on top, the rest of the leg, and tighten up. And there's one, and do that 5 times. Now that we have our feet on, just flip her over, and we can put the joiners on. It's always handy not to go too far with these joiners, you just do them till they nip up. Now that we have the joiners on, we can flip it over and put it in place. Just a matter of lining up the holes. You might need to just give them a little budge to make it all fit. And just a little tap down with your hand. And never forget to put these little things in. Just go around. Once we have the bottom in place, now we can stand it up and we can start to assemble the top. And it's a similar way to how we've done the bottom. We put our joiners in. Then we flip it around and place it in and lock it in with the lock nuts. Away we go. Now that we've got our show in place, we can go to, where are we? Section 4 on the instruction list, and we can put in our drawers. And these are the hinges for the drawers. Just line them up with the holes. And pop them in with the little screws. Again, when you're doing this, don't over tighten because you'll strip all the thread. You just go to slowly with your battery drill until it nips up. And then there's 2 in the top. Here we go, and we do the same for the other side. Now that we have the side hinges on, we can put our base slats in. The bottom one first. I always like to put the centre one in next and make sure that the veneered part goes to the top. There's nothing worse than getting this assembled and you find out you've got the chipboard sticking up at the top. Just like so. And then it's easier, we've found, to pop the screws in, one each side just to hold it in while we've got it down on the ground. Okay, we've got that middle part in. Now for the back part, and again we don't want that side up, this side up. We pop in, the same as the centrepiece. Whack a screw each end. Now we'll video putting a handle in, and all you do with the handle is put your screw through and get a start. Make sure we always get a start, and then before we tighten up we get a start on the other side. Okay, it's time to insert the drawers now that we've got them made. Now I think this is the trickiest part of the whole lot, so what we need to do is get them in between the hinges. And it'll take a little bit of manoeuvring now that we've got them there. So these little hinge inserts, little round inserts. Put one in the right hand side, sorry, don't know my left from my right. And then just get a start with the screw. And that's all we need. Just get the start. And then we go to the other side. And pop it in. Once we do this side, we tighten it up, just not over tight, just enough, and then we come back and nip this other side up. Okay. Now we have one drawer and we do the same for the top. Now it's time to put our glass top on, and what we usually do is we just pop the dividers over the hole at the top. This one's probably a good one if you can get somebody to give you a hand to do that, because it's a little tricky. And then we screw in our oil thread. Right, now that we've got all our oil thread in place and we've put the dividers on, it's time to have a go at putting it on. Now this can be tricky, so I'm going to have a go myself and see how we go. What we need to do is just find the holes. I think I'll be okay. There's two, and there's number three. So if you just find the holes and make sure you sit the dividers in. And we're done. Once we've got that down, we just come inside and put the nut on. And once we have all three nuts on, we go around with a shifter and just nip it up to be tight enough.